I'm Carter Thomas, and I'm with Harvey and Thomas Orthodontics in Mobile, Alabama. Just had the honor of being invited to both masterminds. The first one about 8 months ago, and then this one here this weekend. They were both great, but different. The first one was all male doctors. My partner, Dr. Kimmy, jokingly was like, "Oh, Carter, what are you doing? Going to God's Club again? Going to like fraternity over there in Pensacola with all the orthodontists?" And I'd laugh. But it was good. So we did a lot of biohacking and, got to experience saunas and cold plunges and things like that. And a lot of the guys from the group went home and purchased some of that equipment to take back home. And so there was a good physical wellness component to the first one, certainly. And then, in the conference room all weekend, a bunch of guys, some of us might have been distracted watching college football, and that's fine. But it's more just guys hanging out and just talking orthodontics, which has a lot of value. We talked a lot of ideas, like vision stuff. We talked a lot of clinical orthodontics, like I ordered a different canine spring, it's like, a little tooth moving tip here or there. And I took some stuff home, but not as much probably as this weekend that I will take home. I would say from the first time, not as much probably stuck for long-term benefit. How is this one different? I'll start out by saying, and I think I've said it in here before, my wife and I over the last 4 years have really been on just a wellness journey, and Luke and the team here at HIP have been a big part of that. I see Luke as a mentor in that. And my wife begged me to work out for, I don't know, we've been married 11 years now. The first 6 years, she's big into fitness and nutrition, and always, but not in a overboard way. She's very reasonable and healthy. But I never bought in. But similar to Luke's story, I started having, being an orthodontist with micro movements in hands, like a lot of nerve pain in my arms. And I was, I'm not a very big guy, but I was a little bit overweight. I finally started working out, but it was because I decided on my own that I wanted to. But so I've had just a big mental and physical, I feel like, transformation over the last 5 years. And the mastermind this weekend, tying all that back to this, and the journey that my wife and I have been on for the last 5 years or so, is physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, and social wellness. I pray that for my children, strength and health and all those areas. And they're all so interconnected. And this weekend, I feel like having Anthony DiClemente here and Julie, it was less about orthodontics this weekend and more about just overall health and wellness in life. And I feel like if we get those areas, those 4 or 5 areas, you can add social to that, if you want to, but physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional, those 4, we get those strong and healthy, our practices kind of can take care of themselves, and they will. Our practices will explode if we're healthy in all those areas. It permeates through our team, through our patients, and being healthy in those areas helps us to actually fulfill our life purpose that God put us here for. And it's not just about bringing in a canine or whatever, it's fulfilling our life mission. But here this weekend, Anthony, yesterday morning at 6:30 in the morning, we're on the side of a road here in suburbs of Pensacola, and kind of more of an industrial area, not a ritzy, fancy area, like nice neighborhood or at a country club or anything. We're on the side of a road doing breath work, and I feel like I had a clear encounter with the Holy Spirit, with God, on the side of a road. So you meet God. I guess the message here is you might meet God in the most unexpected places. But I'm not a very vulnerable person. I do think vulnerability is very attractive, but I have historically not been very good at it. But I started crying, broke down, and so did a couple other guys here. And I didn't even know that they were doing that. We have our eyes closed on a mat, across the field. So tying all that in, Anthony really was a big deal here to help just encourage, promote, and preach the importance of overall physical health and how that ties into mental and spiritual. Anthony's got a great spiritual component, and I think that tied in really well to everything that he was doing this weekend. Both masterminds have been amazing. I do think that it's much more important. We're busy orthodontists. Stress, is crazy. We see a lot of patients. We've got good businesses and families. I think that stress and mental health, if we can get that in check, I think a lot of orthodontists struggle way more with that than they do with straightening teeth. And we had some clinical talks this weekend, but what's most important out of these things is personal development, and our businesses and practices, I think, will feel the fruits of that.